Do you hear that crunch? That crunch is about 14 months of research and development and about $10 million of investment.
I know what the f you did to this chicken? It's crazy.
Almost impossible to get into. Coqodaq in New York City is not just a place that makes good fried chicken. They've built one of my favorite culinary experiences. The Bucket List is their premier menu format, featuring 4 signature sauces, banchan, and 2 courses of the greatest fried chicken I've ever had. And the kicker, everything we're about to make is 100% gluten-free. Today we're breaking down the proper way to butcher a whole bird, why the gluten-free batter is superior, along with all their signature but dead simple sauces and glazes. This is the latest inductee to Stevie's Hall of Fame. This is the Coqodaq Bucket List. Now we need to start this a day ahead. Any good fried chicken, no matter where in the world it's from, it's gotta be brined first. It's the only way to hold up to the aggressive frying we're going to need to do to achieve the perfect fried chicken. To start the brine, I have a small little pot here, and I have 4 cups of water. I'm going to add 2 of those cups to the pot. To that, we're gonna add about 3 tablespoons of kosher salt, roughly like 30 to 35 grams, and 10 grams of sugar. Then some flavor, we're gonna add some garlic, granulated garlic, about a tablespoon, a teaspoon of cayenne, and a teaspoon of ground ginger. Whisk it all up, and then we're going to get that onto the stove just until it warms up enough to dissolve the salt and the sugar. While that dissolves, we're just gonna take the rest of that water and add it to a big bowl. The reason I split it is because we need to cool the water down before we add chicken to it. So by only heating up like half of it, we can pour it into there, which will cool it down quick. Then we can add a little bit of ice and get that down to temperature nice and quickly. Once you can see all the salt dissolved, add it to the water. A little ice in there. That should cool down in no time. Now we're gonna learn how to butcher this chicken. Towel down with your biggest cutting board. Now here I have about a 4.5 pound chicken. Organic, pasture raised, great. Now I let it sit in the fridge overnight to dry out, not because we need the skin to dry for crispiness, but it's gonna allow for cleaner cuts when we butcher this. Also much easier to handle when it's dry, it's not slippery, it's not leaking everywhere. Many people butcher chickens many different ways. How I like to do it is I start with the legs here, right? And the legs are kind of open, you know? She got no respect. What we wanna do is lean into that. And you can see this line of fat here? That line is telling you where you need to cut. So what I'm gonna do is take that flap right there, I'm gonna slice it open, and I'm gonna just cut right along that line. And now that leg is kind of opened up. And then we do the same thing over here. Put pressure on the leg, and so just a nice little cut reveals it. Barely even have to put any effort into it. Slice here. Now we're gonna take the legs and we're going to pop them out of their sockets. Now we can take it right here. There's a little plump piece of meat, that's called the oyster. So we can start our knife cut and cut it around this part right here to maintain the oyster. We're just going to kind of cut underneath. Cut around the oyster. Just a little nugget right there. And then all you gotta do is just follow. And you got a thigh and a leg. And then the other side, same thing. Now sometimes people like to go for the wing next, but I like to take the breast off because then the wing kind of acts as some stability. Trim off the excess fat over here. And so then there's a breastbone that's running right down the middle. So I'm gonna take my knife right to the side of it and I'm gonna sort of press against the bone and pull back. And I can gently go in and start to just peel back the meat from the bone. Once the breastbone cut is there, then we can go ahead with our knife, cut around. And then we've got a nice chicken breast. Repeat with the other side. Really quite simple, right? And so now you've got the hardest thing to remove, unless you've got it at this stage, which we're just gonna cut around, and there you go. Cut under the armpit, around. Now this you're saving for stock. Ziploc bag ready to go. Throw the carcass in there. But wait, there's more. The wingtips, we don't need the wingtips. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look for them, right? And I'm gonna see where they like articulate. Pop it out of its socket, remove it, add it to the stock bag. Then for the wing and the drumette, cut in, and you've got your drumette and your wing. I'm gonna sever the skin and then dislocate the tip. And what I find is you almost wanna cut more into the leg than you do wanna kinda cut off the drumette bottom. So if you cut the flap like there and almost lean the wing closer to the ground, you're cutting closer to the wing, almost like at an angle if you could see. Then we've got the leg, the thigh, and the drumstick. Now again, there's this line of fat right here. That's telling you where to cut. If you want, you can kind of feel it, wiggle, and we should have a cut through with no issue. This is gonna stay as is. Then for the thigh, we're gonna take the bone out, because who likes eating a bone in fried chicken unless it's a drumstick? So again, see the fat line? The fat lines on meat tell you where to cut. So we just take our knife and cut along that bone, open it up, and what we can do is slice along the bone, get underneath it, slide your knife under it, and then use the edge of your knife to almost scrape the meat back. A sharp knife should just peel that skin back until you get to the end, and you can kind of just peel the bone right off. Now that goes into the stock bag. We can cut it in half. And you see that size? That's a perfect size nugget for me. It's a little bit bigger than the other one, so I'm gonna do basically thirds. And repeat the other leg again. And now for the chicken breast. Now you see how the chicken is almost like a triangle? Kind of wider here, tapers down there. I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna cut it where it tapers. Now that's gonna be one piece of chicken. Now I'm gonna take the fat piece, cut it into thirds. Now this will go in your freezer, or you can go ahead and make stock with it right away. Now what I found is that whole chicken, when it's battered and fried, will feed about 3 people. But say you got a 4th person and you don't have 6 people, that you could just double it. You can go ahead and just get some legs, right? Come out here, just butcher up some more legs. And in just these 2 pieces, you've added, what, 6 more pieces of chicken? Then all we gotta do, place that in our brine. It's gonna be so good, you have no idea. We're just gonna cover it, place that in the fridge. 12 hours is good, 24 hours is, and the reason for that is even after 3 fries, those chicken breasts are gonna be tender and moist. And it's only because we allow it to kind of create time to suck in that salt and retain it. It's the moisture required to get this through frying. So now into the fridge. Probably the hardest part. Actually, everything we do tomorrow is quite simple, but technical. So you're gonna have to pay attention. I'll see you tomorrow. I finally know where my favorite coffee comes from, and it's all thanks to this incredible box here by our sponsor today, Cometeer. They've invented a new way to make coffee. The coffee's brewed to perfection by expert coffee makers to lock in peak flavor and freshness, and is sourced by some of the best coffee roasters in the world. Hot coffee, iced latte, espresso, all in seconds and with no machine. Cometeer ships frozen on dry ice directly to your door in these little recyclable capsules. Say you're a hot coffee drinker. Simply pop one of the frozen pucks, add about 8 ounces of hot water, and before your eyes, the puck melts into a perfect cup of coffee. Maybe you like an iced latte. Add a little milk, fill it with some ice, and then just pour over one of your thawed coffees and watch it transform into a latte as the coffee swirls into the milk. It's a beautiful latte. I myself am actually an iced coffee guy. For an iced coffee, all you gotta do is add some cold water, some ice, one of your thawed coffees. Instantly and easily, you've got coffee brewed like a barista made it in your home. I think the Winslow Coffee Co. is my favorite. And their new World Mug collection is the perfect place to start to explore a world of coffee you may have never tasted. Inside this box is coffee from 16 different countries and roasters. Each one tastes totally unique, and beyond being delicious coffee, Cometeer is TSA approved, so it's perfect for travel. Absolutely no microplastics involved, and the capsules are fully recyclable. So if you want to taste all the different coffees from around the world, Cometeer is giving you 20% off, so grab your world mug experience before it's gone at cometeer.com/notanothercookingshow20, or head on down in the description to my link. Now it's been 24 hours in the brine. Just gonna pull it out of the brine. We're just gonna lay it out on the towel. It smells amazing. This now can chill in the fridge until we're ready to dredge them. Now before we get into battering the chicken, one of the more fun aspects of this meal is the sauce bar that the fried chicken bucket list comes with. I ran a food truck, we had a hot sauce bar. I'm a huge fan of any type of sauce bar, and fried chicken is no exception. 4 sauces we're gonna quickly run through that Coqodaq serves. The first one's called Jun Verde. This is actually very similar to cilantro sauce, the sauce that we used to serve on the food truck. And it's, of course, my favorite of the sauces. Starts with tomatillos, some garlic, and jalapeno. First thing we do is preheat a stainless steel pan on high. Once it's hot, we're gonna add in the tomatillos that have been peeled and rinsed of their little sticky film, a few cloves of garlic, and a jalapeno. We're gonna let them toast in the pan that's dry. Just move them around. Once they start charring on that first side, give them a flip. You know they're working when they start dancing in the pan, jiggling. Once they've charred on all sides, we can start to just throw them into a blender. Take a knife and just slice the flesh of the jalapeno in, especially if you wanna kinda limit the heat. To that, we're gonna add half a cup of cilantro, quarter cup of mayonnaise, tablespoon of lime juice, pinch of salt. We're just gonna blend until smooth. Touch more mayo, it's a little loose. Some green onion. Missing a little bit of honey, I think. I hit it with a pinch of xanthan gum to thicken it too. That's one down. Next up is the parm pepper sauce. It's gonna start with half cup of mayo, quarter cup sour cream, third cup Parmigiano Reggiano, black pepper, garlic powder, about a teaspoon, cheek of a lemon, salt. Stir that together. Pepper parm sauce done. Then there's their ultimate honey mustard. Half a cup of mayo. I got 2 tablespoons of my favorite spicy brown mustard. I meant to get whole grain, but I got old style. 2 tablespoons of that. About 2 tablespoons of honey. A little rice vinegar, cayenne. That's 3. Next up, the gochujang barbecue sauce. In a pan, we're gonna grate 1 clove of garlic. Gochujang, a fermented chili paste. We're going about 1/3 cup of that. Quarter cup of ketchup. Now remember I said everything is gluten-free. Tamari is gluten-free soy sauce. So about 2 tablespoons of that. Tablespoon of rice vinegar. A tablespoon of honey. Teaspoon of sesame oil. We're gonna stir that together. Add a touch of dark soy sauce. Kind of darken the color a little bit. Kind of adjusts it from gochujang glaze to more of a barbecue sauce. Onto the stove, then we're gonna turn the heat on, bring this up to a bubble, and we just kind of wanna caramelize it, reduce it, allow that garlic to sort of cook for a minute or 2, take it off, get it into a squirt bottle. And then number 4, gochujang barbecue sauce. There are your sauces. Every table, every bucket of chicken, you get these 4 sauces to play around with, which is a nice touch. Now on to the dry dredge. The interesting thing about this recipe is the first time we fry, we dredge it in low protein, gluten-free flour. Potato starch, rice flour, and cornstarch. Now, obviously a restaurant wants to serve gluten-free because you could feed as many people as possible with no issues. We're gonna go in with 1 cup of rice flour. But the added benefit of using these flours is actually they absorb less oil. So what you get in the end is a product that has less kind of grease absorbed into it and a lighter eating fried chicken. I had no idea this was gluten-free until I went with a friend who was gluten-free and the restaurant was like, yeah, we got everything. You can eat whatever you want here. 1 cup of rice flour, 1 cup of potato starch, half a cup of cornstarch. And they're all roughly measured. One problem with these flours is because of their low protein, they have a harder time becoming golden brown. They will get crispy, but they won't develop a ton of color. And Coqodaq uses a genius trick to get that color back into the flour, but that happens in the wet batter. Baking powder, we're gonna go a couple tablespoons. Garlic powder, a couple tablespoons of onion powder. A few big pinches of salt. Now we wanna whisk this together. Now I've got like a narrow glass like this. We're gonna pull out about 1 cup of the starch, add it into here. Set this off to the side. A half a cup of cold water, and I'm gonna add a half a cup of vodka. We've used vodka before in recipes. What it does, or any alcohol really does, is evaporates faster than water. Because that alcohol evaporates, that means the starches get crispier faster and hold their crisp longer. Now, here's the trick. We're gonna add turmeric to the flour here. The turmeric, believe it or not, is gonna give us that color back that we missed. About 2 tablespoons. And we're gonna whisk that together. And then what we can do is start to slowly work in our liquid. And we're trying to create a loose batter. See how it coats a spoon, but it runs? Sort of what we're looking for. I think that's ready to go. Now what we're gonna do, take our chicken, coat in your chicken. Super well coated. And now while I'm dredging the rest of these, I've got a pot of peanut oil. First temperature we're going for is anywhere between 275 and 300. And we're not gonna dip them in the batter yet. We're going straight from this to the fryer, then we batter, and then we double fry. This is the technique that creates, in my opinion, the best fried chicken. We've overshot the temp a little bit, so I just turned the heat off, and the chicken is still cold, so I'm pretty confident. Once I add the chicken, we'll be right where we wanna be. I'm gonna start with the bigger pieces first. We're gonna cook these for about 5 to 6 minutes. And we're gonna take our time and do them in batches. Corrected back down to 280, so now I jack the heat back up, and that's called regulating the temp. After about 5 minutes, you should see the chicken starting to brown around the edges, but they will be pretty pale, pretty unappetizing, but we're prepared for that. We can take that first batch out, then we can get another batch in. This should go down in about 3 batches. Once you've gone through and fried all the batches of chicken, we're gonna get them onto the wire rack, allow them to chill on the wire rack, drain, and relax while we prep one quick thing. After stage 1, they should look pale. Obviously, we're not done yet. This is now prepped, once it's chilled down a bit, to be dipped in the batter, which is then going to then be dropped in the fryer, and that's when the magic starts to come alive. For now, we need to make one more accoutrement, and it's something I'm almost positive you've never had or potentially never even heard of, and that's a scallion salad. Got a bunch of scallions here. I'm gonna take the tops and the bottoms off, and I'm gonna segment them into thirds. Then we're gonna start to cut down the middle. So we get 2 pieces like that, and then we can line them on top of each other, and we're gonna slice them thin. It's really a surprising thing that cuts through the richness of the fried chicken you're gonna eat. Got a bowl of ice, fill it up with water, and we wanna add them and try and get them to curl up. Now for the banchan, that's a harder thing to make. They've got like a celery that's done something to it, and daikon, which is hard to find. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna replace the cabbage with kimchi, the daikon with, I got some pickled daikon and carrot from the store, and the celery with some cucumber. What we're gonna do with the cucumber, cut it in half, split it, cut it into relatively big chunks into a bowl, salt them, and we're just gonna hit them with a little bit of soy, a little honey, a little sesame oil. Stir that up. We can let this marinate, then we can just, got like these little bowls here. We're just gonna start to layer in some kimchi. A nice pile of some daikon. This, the cucumber, we'll put in its own bowl. And now, what we wanna do, drain the water, get it onto a paper towel. You see what's happened? It's kind of gotten all beautiful, curly, and crunchy. We're gonna dress that right before service. That's our salad. Now that all the chicken was out of the dredge, all I did was add the rest of the liquid I had, basically the full cup. And then I started to spoon some of the extra dredge in. until I've just kind of maximized the yield and just kind of calibrated it back to the same thickness. So now that's ready to use. Got a pan on the stove to make our glaze. Now, the first course is the bucket of fried chicken, plain Korean fried chicken. The second course is your choice of soy or gochujang glaze or both. Now, I think we maybe have been sauced out here. I'm gonna leave the recipe for the soy glazed version in the recipe itself, so you can kind of choose which one you want. We would make it the same way as we're gonna make the gochujang. But now we're gonna get the heat back onto the oil up to 325, and that's gonna be round 2 of frying. Now, while our oil heats up, we can just build our gochujang glaze right in a non-stick pan with a couple cloves of grated garlic, a little bit of grated ginger, 3 tablespoons of the gochujang, 3 tablespoons of ketchup, 3 tablespoons of honey, a tablespoon and a half of tamari, a tablespoon of mirin, and a tablespoon of vinegar. Turn the heat on, start mixing it together. It should be spicy but balanced, super flavorful. Right before we're ready to serve, we'll paint it onto the chicken. 325 is our target temp, so we're right around there. We can start to test our batter. Gonna throw one in. What you'll notice is on this first fry, what I've found is they almost have this reddish color from the turmeric. But if all goes right, that second fry, that color goes away. Now I feel better about going ahead and adding the rest. I know it looks weird, but it resolved itself during the test, and so I've got faith. Now, after the second fry in the restaurant, they'd hold that chicken after it's been fried twice, and so now whenever somebody orders, all they do is take that chicken, drop it in the fire for like 2 minutes max, super duper high heat, 375, and that's how you serve great chicken to hundreds of people a night, maybe 1,000, quick, efficiently, never an issue. We've got that salad. All we're gonna do, dress it with some soy sauce, a little rice vinegar, a little honey, a little sesame oil, Korean chili flake if you got them. And you can just toss that up. Our salad's ready to go. Look, I know it's a lot of work. We've come so far, but you can't give up now. This wasn't quick and easy. This was the best, and this is what it takes. So we're approaching the target temp of 375. Gently drop some pieces into the oil, maintain that 375, and we're gonna give it just 1 to 2 more minutes to evaporate any residual moisture that's left over in the batter or the chicken, and to give us an incredibly crispy and perfect end result. And just like I told you, that red just sort of vanishes. It's weird, I know. You notice how dry it is? And obviously exceptionally crispy, but the dryness I want you to pay attention to. It's that lack of oil absorption. There's no grease. We can take our gochujang glaze and then just paint on the chicken. If you notice the breasts, right? I kept the breasts really big, the thighs, everything else pretty small, because the breasts can overcook really quick. I want them to be much bigger than everything else so that they survive this cooking process. Now, just gonna start filling this guy up. This little piece right here, it's a little piece of the breast that fell off. Let's see how we did. We're there. Now we can arrange our banchan, our sauces, and there you have the Coqodaq Bucket List at home. Tender, moist, crispy, juicy, perfect. You can see the moisture, you can see it's tender. Bite through, then you go in for a little palate cleanser, you know, some kimchi. Try the honey mustard. And even the breast, right? Cooked all the way through, still has moisture in it. Glistening breast meat. Hard to find in fried chicken. Now I made this harder than it needs to be. Whether you want 1 sauce or 4, or a banchan or 4, or 2 types of chicken, maybe 3, or just regular chicken. Recipe's gonna be down in the description. That's all that I have today. I'll see you next time. Until then, take care of yourself. Go feed yourself.